And Auken here, back with Fight Bananas, and another video for another topic that I love. I love mixed martial arts, UFC especially, and the betting markets and FanDuel and DraftKings. And I live in Florida, so Hard Rock Bet. I love all these integrations of mixed martial arts and betting. It's one of my favorite things to do. And one of my big wagers that I did personally on UFC 310 just this past week was Magomed Ankalaev. I thought he was so disrespectful that he was an underdog, especially at that high. Sometimes minus 130, plus 110. You know, that's not a huge underdog. Marab, you could have got him that day, that Saturday, over plus 200. Loved it. I did it. Hopefully you did it too. On that night, so I think, name of this video, I'm going to call this The Same Mistake. And on that same night, UFC 313, they announced the main event. And I love this main event. We talked about it, all week long. Alex Pereira, Powhatan, is defending his UFC light heavyweight championship against Magomed Ankalaev. Ankalaev, 21-1, absolute, the deserving number one contender, and who should fight Powhatan. But the betting markets, Mr. FanDuel, Mr. DraftKings, I would assume they're guys. I'm sorry about that, but I'm assuming they made Magomed Ankalaev a minus 200 betting favorite on the opening lines. That is way gone, long gone. And again, they're making the same mistake. That's what they had. They had Umar Nurmagomedov. And this is where I'm going with it, guys. I'm not saying they're the same, but I do feel because of the success of course, Khabib Nurmagomedov and what he's done with Father playing in his training camp and everything over there in Dagestan. And of course, Islam Makhachev, who I think is the best fighter alive today. So there's a lot of things. And I know what Usman's doing over there in the PFL and Bellator. And Umar's great. Umar's a really good fighter. Ankalaev is a really, really good fighter. But just because you have an OV at the end of your name doesn't guarantee that you will be a world champion in the UFC. And maybe if you are, I don't think you should be the heavy betting favorite. I know Ankalaev was minus 200. He's not anymore. Yesterday, I was thinking about doing this. He was minus 140. I just checked Bet Online. He's now minus 115, 120. And Alex on the comeback was plus 105, plus 110. So I'm still running with this video because I still think the betting markets is making the same mistake they did with Magomed Ankalaev with Alex Powhatan Pereira. There's no way on this planet. Alex versus John Jones, Alex versus Aspinall, Alex versus Izzy, Alex versus Dricus du Plessis, Alex versus Ankalaev, Alex versus King Kong. Alex Powhatan Pereira should not be a betting underdog against any man, living thing on this planet. And I'm going to go over why I am so strong on that. And I think it's the same mistake. I think it's the same Umar to Ankalaev. I think to me, it feels very similar, eerie similar. Let's go with the challenger, who is the betting favorite. Ankalaev, 21-1, 11-1-1 in the UFC. Unbelievable record. Like he is, and I think the rightful number one contender. His last win, UFC 306 in October, defeating Alexander Rakic via unanimous decision. Then it was been a funky, let's just be honest, 18 months for him, because January of 2024, he fought Walker, defeated him second round TKO, didn't fight except for at the end there in UFC 306 in October. 2023, he fought Johnny Walker to that weird no contest first round, weird thing. December of 2022, he fought Jan, who is definitely a great topic point in this fight, Jan Blachowicz, to a draw. A split decision draw in that main event for the championship. And then they had to make it vacant, remember? Then they made Glover versus Jamal, so on and so on. And the rest is history. But guys, that's December 2022. July of that same year, 2022, he defeated Anthony Smith via second round TKO. And he's got wins over Thiago Santos and Volkan Ozdemir. So again, he's the rightful number one contender. But that's not a Hall of Fame resume. That's not an all-star resume. It's a good resume. It is a right projection. Santos, Volkan, Anthony Smith, Johnny Walker, Rakic. 5 good guys. None of those guys have been world champions, so he doesn't have a champion. And Out of those 5 guys, are any of those bona fide 100% Hall of Famers? And I think the one would be Anthony Smith, I think, is the closest to a Hall of Fame resume. Like I said, guys, I'm not trying to disrespect the man at all. Number 1 contender. He's the betting favorite. Those guys know more than I. I just think that there's not a, to me, it's a very Umar Nurmagomedov kind of rise. He has, a good wins. I don't think there's a phenomenal win on the banner. And I don't, like I said, not against a champion, not against a future Hall of Famer. And also there's a lot of, he's got a draw. He's got a no contest. And since July of 2022, he's fought 6 times. We know what Poatan does, right? So that resume as the betting favorite against, to me, the fighter of 2024. Maybe you can say Ilya. I say Alex. Let's go with Alex's 2024. By the way, he's 9-1 in the UFC, 12-2 overall. My fighter of the year 2024. We know UFC 307, the 4th round TKO to Roundtree. 303 in June, the 2nd round TKO of Yuri. UFC 300 in April, the 1st round knockout of Jamal Hill. The run's incredible, guys. We keep on going. 2023, just a couple months before April, fought Yuri, knocked him out 2nd round TKO, and then fought Jan. Same kind of, I know it's not MMA math. I get it doesn't work, but fought Jan, beat him. It was by split decision, but he did defeat him. Only a 3-round fight, so a 5-round fight. Again, more active. To me, that's a tougher competition. We know he's got wins against Israel Adesanya, Sean Strickland, 2 former champions. Yuri was a former champion. Jamal Hill is a former champion. I think those are 2 to 3 bona fide UFC Hall of Famers. He's got great resume. His resume to me is just night and day to Ankalaev. And if you guys think I'm wrong, put it in the comments. I would love to hear. But I think Alex Pereira's resume is way better than Ankalaev. Another little bonus thing I like about this fight for Alex, he had such a banner year in 2024. Of course, great in 2023 as well. But he was so active and so busy. His last fight was October. Definitely got banged up a little bit. I love that it's November, December, January, February, and this fight is happening in March. I think this is a good layoff for him. I think it's him to get his body right, mind right, weight, all that stuff. I think it's the perfect time away. It's not too long, because when you're active and you're gone too long, it's like ring rust and other conversations can be had. I think it's the perfect time for Alex Pereira to defend his championship. So, like I said, I think it's a mistake that Alex Poatan is the betting underdog. That's what this video is about. If you think I'm wrong, put it in the comments. I would love to hear from you. But to me, this is so eerie similar to what we saw with Merab Dvalishvili against Umar Nurmagomedov, and now what we're seeing with Alex Pereira against Magomed Ankalaev. Let me know. That's my topic right there. I think the betting gods, the Mr. and Mrs. FanDuel and DraftKings, I'm a Hard Rock Sports bet guy here in Florida. I think they are making a dire mistake, making Alex Pereira the